everyone, and welcome to day 7 of our 30-day Fit and Health Challenge. Today we have a full body workout. So what we're going to do is a large circuit of 5 exercises, and we'll do 3 sets of that. And then we're going to do a superset of core exercises at the end. So that's 2 core exercises back to back. What you're going to need today for your workout is a chair, a couch, or some kind of elevated surface, a dowel or broomstick again, and then either a towel. So I just have a regular small towel here, or if you have a band, you can use one of the large or longer bands as a substitute. So what I'll do today is we'll do a warm up to start. I will then break down all the exercises, give you guys some options to regress or progress the exercise, and then we'll get going with our 3 sets of our main circuit and our 2 sets of superset at the end. And I want you to keep remembering as we go through these exercises to set our core, screw our feet into the ground. All right guys, we'll get going with some jumping jacks. We've got 30 seconds. Now if we don't want to do the jumping jack, we can just step from side to side here. We just want to get the body going. Perfect. Next up, we'll do some high knees. And then here, if we don't want to do the high knees running, we can just do our steps and drive that knee up one at a time. Whatever you feel like you need to do. Perfect. All right, then next step, we get into a nice large stance here, and we're going to drop to one side, and then we're going to squeeze our arms over our head. Arms back down, come back to the middle, lower, squeeze, and middle. Perfect. Think about pushing the hips back, making sure we keep our chest nice and high, and get a good squeeze in the shoulder blades at the top. Perfect. All right, now for our next activation exercise, we're going to do our single leg balance. Okay, so grab a chair if you need to. Remember, if you do have a chair and want the inside leg to come up, that same hand to be on the chair or whatever's helping keep your balance. All right, so 3, 2, 1, and up. All right, we're going to grip the ground with those other toes. We're going to squeeze our hip, making sure that we don't have a hip pop here. We want to pick up our elevated leg. Keep the knee at hip height here. The higher we keep it, the more that glute is working and is slowly turning on for us. Perfect. Switch to the other side in 3, 2, 1. Gripping the ground with our toes, keeping the hips forward, shoulders back, knee up nice and high. Perfect. All right, so now we're going to get down to the floor. Now you have the option of doing your TA breathing exercises if you're more comfortable with those. But what we'll do today, what I'm going to demo today, is our hollow hold. We'll do 10 seconds on, take a little break, and we'll do that 3 times. Okay? So we're either here with our knees bent and our arms over our shoulders, or we're opening up the arms, or we're opening up everything. Okay? So get ready here. We're gonna go in 3, 2, 1, 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Good. Always making sure that that low back is pushing into the floor. Okay, so we're squeezing our bum, squeezing our core, we're pulling the ribs in to kind of help keep everything tight. I'm gonna go again in 3, 2, 1, and go. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. No space between your back and the floor. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Okay. And one more time here. Adjust whatever position you're doing if you need to. And we'll come up in 3, 2, 1, go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Good job. So we'll get started on some mobility drills. Okay, so we'll get started on some mobility drills. First thing we're going to do is we're going to keep one knee on the ground. I'm going to bring one foot in front of us. And now here, I want you guys to pull your ribs down. Squeeze your glutes so we're tucking that hip under here. Nice neutral spine. Already here, you might have a bit of a stretch on the front of your leg. And keeping everything as tight as you can, we're going to do a little rock forward. Okay, so because we want to keep that tension, the rock is not very big. I would not want you to let everything go, open up the hips and arch through the back. Okay, so we don't need to be going that big of a rock. We're just going to go 5 little rocks forward, keeping that glute as tight as possible. Now when we're done those 5, we're going to open up the foot at 45 degrees. Again, neutral spine, keep the core and the glutes tight, add a little bit of a rock. So now not only are we feeling the stretch in the front, maybe feeling a little bit here on that leg that's up. Okay, then we're going to get that foot all the way to the side. Now it's natural here for your shoulders to want to pivot, but we are going to keep them forward. Okay, so rotate those shoulders forward, pull the knee back, and then 5 little rocks right here. Still squeezing the glutes. We want to push those hips forward. And 5. Excellent. Switch to the other side. Okay. First thing we're going to do, that pelvic tilt, squeezing the glutes, neutral spine. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good. Open that leg up to 45 degrees. Squeeze and 5 rocks. Perfect. Open that leg up all the way. And we're going to pivot the shoulders forward and let that knee drive over the toes, keeping the tension through our core and our glutes. Awesome. All right, next up, bring our hands to the ground. Kick one leg out, and we're going to start by rocking back. So try to keep your back flat. Go until you get a stretch on the inside of that leg. And now with the same arm, so my left foot is out, my left arm is going to reach under my right arm. And it's going to rotate, open up towards my left foot. So we'll go 4 rotations. Good. And 4. Bring that knee back under your hip. Flip to the other side. Again, we're going to start by rocking backwards until you get a good stretch. And then we're going to reach away and rotate. And one more. Perfect. Come on all fours here. Go right into our cat camels. So arch that back, look all the way up. Round to the back, push away from the floor, tuck your chin. Good, drop the stomach. Reach up. really try to exaggerate these movements. Wakes up the spine, the shoulder blades, the hips. Good, we'll bring it back to neutral. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're going to do just the camel part, so just the rounded part. And then we're gonna keep this and we're gonna rock backwards. So you should feel a stretch kind of coming in here in your lats, under maybe your armpit. Bring it back to normal. And then round through the back, push away from the floor. And rock back, keeping everything rounded. Good, back to neutral. Push. And rock back. Good, one more round. Rock. And neutral. Good, then we're going to finish off today with our overhead reach. So just slide that hand forward, drop the chest into the floor. Pull it back, we'll go 4 per side. Perfect. Good job, guys. So that's our warm-up. Now I'm going to break down all our exercises, give you a few options, and then we'll get going on 3 sets of our main circuit and then 2 of our superset. Alright, so for first exercise, you guys are going to need your chair or your bench, in my case, my couch. So we're going to get nice and close with your butt. You're going to put one foot on top and then you're going to lie down on your back. Okay, so your other foot can either be straight up in the air, can be bent, doesn't really matter. Okay, we're going to do a single leg elevated glute bridge. And now this doesn't have to be at 90 degrees. If you guys want to put it on a small stepping stool or on a step going up your stairs or something, that's also going to work. The lower the step is, the easier the exercise becomes. Okay, so here we're going to flatten out the back. We're squeezing through the core, nice and engaged here. And we're going to drive the heel into the couch so you should see that pressure build. And then I'm going to push my hips up. Come back down in control. Okay, so we can adjust the height of the step. We can also just bring it back to the floor. Okay, so if we want to regress this exercise, we can also just do our single leg RDL. Still going to require a lot of stability through the hips and a lot of force here through the glutes and the posterior chain. Okay. Now if you guys wanted to make that elevated glute bridge a little harder, you could focus on going fast on the way up and going as slow as possible on the way down. Okay. After that, we're going to have a plank up down. So it's essentially a high plank where we're going to be on our hands and then going into a low plank on our elbows. So if I demo that here, we're going to get in a good plank position. I'm going to make sure I don't have my booty popped out here. I'm going to engage my core, squeeze my glutes, and then I'm going to drop down to my elbows and pick my hand up, push myself back up. Okay, now what I don't want to see is these. Let's really focus on moving the hand, keeping the hand and keeping the elbows under the shoulders. Now if we need to progress that a little bit, we can come on an elevated surface. So if we come on our step, our couch, okay, and then we can do our plank up, down from this. And again, if your surface is a little harder, it's going to be a little bit easier to manage. And if that's too much and it creates too much shoulder instability, then we'll come back to the floor or our elevated surface and we'll just hold a plank for this one. Okay. And then next up, we're gonna have our dowel RDL. So we did this one last week. We're just gonna keep it because it's such an essential one in learning our movement pattern. So I want you guys to remember that we're gonna squeeze, touch our glutes, our shoulders, and our head to the dowel. Soft bend in the knees, and then pushing those hips back towards the wall. I'm trying to get a stretch in my hamstring. I want that dowel to be touching at the hips. I don't want to round through my low back. I don't want to arch through my back, and I don't want to ground my shoulders or pop my head off the top. Okay. Now, if you're really starting to get this movement, and that's not too hard, you have a set of dumbbells. You can grab either one dumbbell in front as it pulls you down. You can grab a dumbbell on either hand. And if you don't have dumbbells but you want to add weight, you can think of adding anything around your house that has a handle. So if you have grocery bags, you want to fill them up. If you have big water jugs, you want to fill those up. Anything like that can be a good way to add some resistance. All right, and then next up, we're going to have our towel iso pull apart. Okay, so you're going to grab your towel, hold it just a little wider than shoulder width apart. Okay, and if you want to just take a knee here, I find it helps to avoid my ribs from flaring. But if you feel more comfortable standing up, you can go ahead and do it standing up. What we're gonna do here is you're just gonna pull as hard as you can against the towel and then relax. Okay, so we're gonna hold that for 2 seconds and come back. And what I want you to think is every single time before you pull is we're gonna set those shoulders away from the ears. Okay, so shoulders back and then pull 1, 2, and relax. And now what's great about this is that you guys control how hard you pull or how not so hard you pull. Okay, so you can manage how much strength you have through the shoulders for that pull. And now if you have a band and you wanted to do a band pull apart instead, you can hold on to both sides of the bands here. If you have the ones with the handles, they're usually a little long, so you could just hold the band in the middle. And same thing, we're gonna set the shoulders and then you're gonna pull your band apart. Key here is to come back in control. We never want to let that band snap back in the middle. Okay? So you have the option of the towel with a band there. I will be using the towel for today. Okay, and then next up, we have our split squat. So we did this one on our leg day. We're going to spread our feet out. Our toes, knees, and hips are still in line, so we don't want to go out too wide. We should still be on our mat, let's say under the hips. And then we're dropping that back knee down. When I'm at the bottom, I want about 90 degrees on both legs and come back up. I can have a chair in front to give me some extra stability, or I can hold on to my chair whichever side the foot is back. So in this case, my right leg is back, I would have my chair on the right side. That might be a little bit better for balance-wise. If we wanted to make it harder, again, we can grab our weights, either 2 hands or the side that is behind us. And then one extra thing you could do to make it harder is put that top foot on your step or on your stool. So elevate one of the feet, it can be your front foot or your back foot, and then that's gonna make sure that you go lower into that squat, and it'll make that harder. So I'll quickly demo our 2 core exercises for our superset at the very end, and then we'll get going on our main strength. Okay? So the 2 core exercises we're gonna have are dead bug. Okay, so we learned that in our core tutorial. We've got a few variations here. I set my shoulders back, pick up my legs, push my low back into the wall. So I can either pull my shoulders up or keep them on the floor, whichever you prefer. Okay, as long as my core is tight, as long as there's no space here below my back. And now I can either just drop one heel at a time and come back, making sure that I keep this really, really, really tight the whole time. Or we can kick out that leg straight and come back, make sure that the leg that stays in the middle is not moving. Or I can add my arms, go leg and arm at the same time. Again, the key component being that my low back never peels off the ground. And then our second exercise for our core is going to be our side plank. So stack our feet one on top of the other. That elbow is right underneath the shoulder, and I'm gonna think about keeping my shoulder away from my ear when I pick my hips up. So we've got this option for the side plank. If that feels really unstable and you don't have enough balance, you can pick up your top foot and put it out in front. Okay. We can also bend through the bottom leg and then push on the outside edge of the knee, the inside edge of the foot, or we can take that away and have both our knees bent here. We're still pushing away from the floor on this side. Okay? So make sure you have all your equipment, grab some water, and then we'll get going on 3 sets of our main strength, so that 5 exercise circuit. Alright, so today we're going to be doing 10 single leg glute bridges per leg. So it's quite a high number. If you guys need to regress that to start off, that's not a problem. Then we're going to be doing 5 plank up downs per arm, so a total of 10. We'll be doing 10 RDLs with our dowel on our back or holding our weights, 8 towel pull aparts, and then 5 split squats per leg. Okay, so we'll get going here. Get set up on the floor. One leg on our elevated surface. Okay, engage the core, push through your heel, drive the hips up. Good. 1, 2, 3. Make sure we're coming back down in control. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Perfect. Switch legs. Engage through the core. Okay, that back, there's no space between the back and the floor. Drive the heel into your surface and lift. 1, 2. Really squeeze the glutes at the top here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Perfect. Okay, next up we're going to be doing our plank up down. So we have 5 per arm. Set up into your plank. Again, making sure, pick the hips up, pull the ribs down so that our core is nice and tight. Down and up with one arm. 2, 3. Now when we go up and down, we want to try and avoid those hips moving as much as we can. 4, 5. And we'll switch to the other arm. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Perfect. Now if you wanted to try those on your knees instead of with your hands up on the couch, you could do that too. Dowel RDLs up next. So we have our 10 reps here, making sure we're nice and tall, soft bend in the knees. Pull those hips back. Remember, keep your knees in line with your ankles. Feel a stretch behind your legs. Squeeze your bum on the way up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good job, guys. We'll grab our towel. Again, holding it about shoulder width apart. Pull the shoulders away from your ears. We're going to have 8 reps. So we're going to pull, hold, and release. Good. Pull and release. Only want to hold it about 2 or 3 seconds. Pull, release. Pull, release. That's 4. Pull, release. 5. Pull, release. 6. 2 more. Pull and release. And last one. Pull and release. Perfect. Okay. And then we're going to finish off with our split squats. So our feet are to be in the right spot. So 5 per leg. We're nice and tall. Again, when we fall down, we're thinking about pushing our hips down and straight back up. Don't want to get the butt sticking out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Adjust your footing. Okay, shoulders back. Drop the knee. Push back up. 1, 2, 3. Remember, we never want to completely lock out the legs. 4 and 5. Good job, guys. Grab some water. 2-minute break, and we'll come back. All right, guys, back for round number 2 here. We'll get set up for our 10 single leg RDLs. Sorry, our single leg glute bridges. All right, 1 foot up in the air. Okay, and then here we want to also try to pull the shoulders back. We don't want to have those sticking off the floor. Core, glutes, and drive off the heel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Squeeze those glutes at the top. Drive through your heel. 10. If you guys need to take a longer time to set up in between every rep, that's totally fine. Okay, really make sure that that core is set, and then we don't have an arch when we get up to the top of our glute bridge. And drive up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Excellent. Flip it around here for our plank up downs. Get into that high plank. Drop to the elbows. Push back up to our plank. That's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now the other side. 1, 2, stabilize those hips. 3, 4, and 5. Excellent. Grab our dowel. Set that down on our head, shoulders, and hips. Soft bend in the hips. And pull back. Really focus on having the knees back. You don't want to let the knees drift forwards at all. 1, 2. Feel that stretch behind the legs. 4. Feel like we're almost sticking our butt out at the bottom. 5. 6. Feel that stretch, squeeze the glutes. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Excellent. Grab our towel. 8 reps here. So pull those shoulders back and pull for 1, pull for 2, pull for 3, pull for 4, pull for 5, pull for 6. Now even if you get tired, try to keep a nice big pull happening. Pull for 7 and pull for 8. Excellent. We'll get up for a split squat. Set our feet. We're either grabbing our chair, we might have some dumbbells in our hands, or we're just hands on hips. And we're going to drop, hop back up. 1, 2, 3. Think about that neutral spine here. Push the hips forward as we come up. 4 and 5. Good. Switch legs. Hands on hips and drop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and did an extra one just for fun. All right, that's 2 rounds, 2-minute break, and then we'll come back for round 3. All right, guys, getting going on round number 3. Set up for your single leg elevated glute bridge. Okay, one leg's up. Let's set the core, low back nice and tight to the ground. Squeeze the glutes. Drive that heel into your surface and lift. 1, 2, 3. Again, take a second. Reset if you need to. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And switch legs. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Perfect. Get set up for our plank up downs. Into our plank, our hips are high, we're squeezing through the core, back is nice and flat. Pick up that hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Totally did an extra accident. And other side. 1, 2, 3. Focus on those hips. 4 and 5. Excellent. Grab our dowel. Okay, so dowels on our head, on our shoulders, on our hips. Soft bend in the knees. Push the hips back. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Push those hips back, back, back. Keep the knees over the heels. 7. 8. Don't forget about your head on the dowel either. 9. And 10. Excellent. Grabbing your towel. If you are down on one knee, it really doesn't matter which knee is on the floor. Okay. We'll do our 8 pulls here. Shoulders away from the ears to start. Okay, chest is out nice and tall. In. Pull. Relax. 1. Pull. Good. 2. Pull. 3. Pull. 4. Pull. 5. Pull. 6. Pull. 7. Good. Last one. And pull. And 8. Perfect. And then finish off with our split squats. 5 per leg. Hands on the hips. And we're gonna drop. Nice and controlled. Up 1. Always thinking about this front knee staying stacked over the toes. 2. 3. And again, if we have knee pain, we don't want to drive the knee forward. Keep it a little bit closer to that ankle, right above the ankle. And 5. Good, we'll switch. Nice and tall, that core is engaged. Okay, screwing that front foot into the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Awesome, guys. Take a 2 to 3 minute break this time, and then when we come back, we've got 2 rounds of our core exercises back to back. All right, guys, so for our core exercises here, we've got our dead bugs. We're gonna go 5 per side. And then we've got our side plank. We're gonna go anywhere from 20 to 30 seconds. So I'll demo a 30-second hold. And if you can, try to hold it for 30 seconds as well. Okay. So we'll get set up on whichever dead bug variation is right for you. Hips are gonna go up. Shoulders up if you can, unless that hurts your neck, then keep your head down on the ground. And we're gonna go ahead here with 5 reps. 1. Make sure that low back is super tight. We're pulling the ribs in to try to help the tension here in the core. 3, the slower we go, the harder it's gonna be. 4, good, and 5, and 5. Excellent. On to our side now. Get it set up here so you're comfortable. And then we're gonna go in 3, 2, 1, and up. Remember, drive away from the floor. We don't wanna have any crunching going on here in that shoulder blade. Hips up high. Good, and then we wanna avoid this shoulders probably twisting here. You wanna keep that back. Keep the hips pushing forwards. Good, that's 25 seconds. And 3, 2, 1, drop that down, flip it to the other side. All right, we'll go ahead in 3, 2, 1, and up. And keep driving those hips up as high as you can, push away from the floor, away from your elbow. Drive this top shoulder back. Squeeze the glutes, pull those ribs in, keep that core nice and tight. Whichever variation you're doing. 5 seconds to go. And 3, 2, 1, drop her down. Good job. Now take the least amount of rest possible. We're gonna try to go right back into our dead bugs, okay? Again, if your back is peeling off the ground, take a break, but get back to it as soon as you can. So knees are up, hands up towards, pulling up to the sky here, and go. 1, 2, low back nice and tight. Pull those ribs in here, keep that tension. 3, 4, 4. Remember, we're lifting from the chest, we're not cranking the head. And 5. Perfect. Get set up into your side plank. Almost done here. 1 side plank per side, and then that's it for the day. So feet stacked one on top of the other, or whichever way you were comfortable. Going in 3, 2, 1, and pop those hips up. Open up that top arm. You can either have your hand on your hip or up to the sky, but try not to have it in front, because that's just gonna bring that shoulder forward, and we want to have it back. Squeeze the glutes. Feel that side pushing your body up to the sky. Good, that's 20 seconds. And 3, 2, 1, time. Perfect. We'll flip it over. All right, get set. We're gonna go in 3, 2, 1, and up. Good job. Push away from the floor. Open up those shoulders, push your hips forward. Good job, keep breathing, squeeze that core, keep thinking about picking up your hip. Okay, we're already at 25 seconds. And 3, 2, 1, time. Good job, guys. That is day 7. That was our second full body workout. As a cool down, again, I would say do a few stretches, maybe go for a walk around the block, and make sure you guys drink a lot of water. If you guys are feeling any tension, you can go back to yesterday's mobility series. All right, have a good one.